And after they've lost their seats, I'd like to see some of them in jail. It has to be. We have to get some of them in jail. That's what I want, jail.
Turning Point UK.
Yeah.
We're having a demonstration yesterday outside Oldham Council just before the public meeting where they were going to listen to testimony from survivors of the grooming gangs.
Right.
So there was several speakers. I was one of them. And someone filmed my little speech, so I copied it and put it on social media. That's how you got to see it.
Yeah. It came to my attention. It was a good speech as well, basically, about what was happening, about the fact these things are now in the daylight, I think, is what you were talking about. So I would recommend our viewers to watch that if you can.
Let's start with some good news. The good news is things have changed. Over this last month, things have changed in this country. It's basically, this is the beginning of the end now. It's gone international. We have foreign news outlets, foreign parliaments talking about how in the UK we rape our own children. That's what's being spoken about around the world. We are now an embarrassment. If this happened in any other country, we would have British MPs stood in the House of Commons saying, look at that country, we need to impose sanctions on that country because they allow the rape of their children. That's what people are talking about us now. And how have we ended up in this situation? A large part of the problem are the people over there who were shouting a minute ago. They're shouting about free Palestine, they're shouting about dead children in Gaza, foreign children in a foreign country on a foreign continent. But yet they never stood up, they never said a word when British girls were being gang raped and murdered. Not a word from them. But that's changed now. The lid cannot go back on the bottle anymore now. This inquiry that we're looking at now from national government, it doesn't matter about the inquiry because everybody knows what went on. We demand justice. Justice will be done. Look at the other scandals we've had in this country. The post office masters. Eventually, enough people hear about it and demand justice. Now, at the moment, the Tories, Labour, are still fighting against this, even though they tell you they're not. They're fighting against it because they know what will come out once the truth is in front of all of us. And it's to cover up. People covered this up for many reasons, but one of the reasons was it was politically convenient. It was politically convenient to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of girls on the altar of multiculturalism for votes. That's all they were votes. But it's over. I'm more positive today than I've ever been, and I've spent 20 years involved in this. I've had paedophiles arrested. I've had paedophiles prosecuted. All of them were white, by the way. I don't care who the pervert is abusing children. I want them arrested and dealt with. So all the perverts I've had arrested were white perverts. Because we have perverts in all our communities. But in this particular case, it was the silence from that community which was also just as bad as the crime. Hence why it went on. Well, no, it's not what's going on in Palestine. It's a different issue altogether. I would suggest you go to Palestine and you fight for your cause there. At this moment in time, we should care about the children of the world, because I do. But if you care about Palestinian children so much, go to Palestine and be part of the solution there, because they need help. So go be that help. But if you're not going to go there, why don't you worry and do something about the girls living on your street, the girls living in your town, in your city? Why don't you care about them? Why are you always selective about who you care about?
Why don't you care about what happened with rape genocide? Why don't you care?
They don't care because they don't care for one simple reason. There's no brownie points in protecting white working class girls. because we're seen as scum. That's why they get more brownie points looking to foreign countries, foreign issues, and claiming those virtue signalling points. But those days have gone, so let's end on a high. We've been doing this for several years now, meeting up and talking about it, and I've spoken to many people who feel a bit disheartened because we only ever get 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 people, and we think to ourselves, nothing's going to change. But it was us doing this that kept this issue alive. And because of this, that Oldham, the politicians in this building, had to eventually ask for an inquiry, which then got refused. And it was only because of what Barger then released on the 1st of January that got some press attention. And it was only because of that that Elon Musk got involved, and then it all changed overnight. This is the beginning of the end of this now, the beginning of the end. And everybody here, you are part of that journey. And none of us are heroes, none of us did this by ourselves, but we kept it alive until the general public grasped it, and they've grasped it now. This isn't going away. We're going to have the inquiry we want. We're going to hold the politicians who allowed this to happen, who covered us up. We're going to hold them responsible at some point in the next few years. The next government that's elected, which I reckon about 2-3 years from now, because this government won't last that long, the next government will seize this, and we're going to have justice. So stay strong. Keep this issue alive on social media and in your family and friends. It's not a waste of time, because 2 years ago, we were screaming into the wind and no one cared. They care now, don't they? The people in that building care now, because some of them are going to lose their seats at the next local elections, because everybody knows what's been going on. And after they've lost their seats, I'd like to see some of them in jail. It has to be. We have to get some of them in jail. That's what I want, jail. Thank you very much.